Welcome to Cosmic Roadmap. I'm your host, Melissa Lambor, Reiki Astrogeoguide and author. I support endless wanderers with where they are meant to be in the world. This podcast is for the digital nomad, the avid traveler, and aspiring globetrotter who is seeking their next destination on planet Earth. Join us as we venture around the world through people's stories and how astrogeography has connected them to their planetary energies and purpose. My special guest today is Gabby Braddock. She has helped many entrepreneurs birth their business into a successful and thriving vessel. Gabby built the Vault Music Studio with her husband and has implemented many processes and strategies so the business can remain profitable, all while building communities that allow them to stay visible. She has her master's and bachelor's degree in accounting and her associates in hospitality management. Her passion for serving others started at a young age, and she has not stopped since. No Plan B is Gabby's first solo business venture. She serves as a fractional COO to female founders, and she also serves small businesses as a consultant and community liaison. She was born and raised in New Jersey, and she can often be found at the park with her two children running around her. So we met through our mutual friend, Bridget Aileen Cisco, more than a year ago. I feel like it's been ages. I've been in your mentoring and networking events and workshops, and now in a Next Generation Network. And I'm honored to call you my friend and trusted business mentor. So thank you so much for being on. And yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Was jumping at the opportunity. I feel like it's perfect timing. I can't wait to see what we're going to chat about.
Yes, exactly. How has everything been since our Astro Geo session? You were actually one of my first clients more than a year and a half ago, which is crazy to think. But what was the clarity that you got? It was a bit crazy. You know, I was still trying to figure out my processes, and you were running around with your baby during our session, but we managed to get something out of it. So I know that you were fixated on Italy and Florida. So we'll chat a little bit about that. But where are you now? So you've grown up in New Jersey. We did talk about the energies that you had here. So we can chat about that and how life has been here in Jersey, starting your business. Like, how have the energies been here?
Yes, it's funny because I think that maybe when we had our session, I mentioned to you how much I love New Jersey. I absolutely love it. I don't know why I feel such a connection to the state of New Jersey. And my husband doesn't enjoy the cold. So for the longest time before COVID and during the beginning of COVID, he was swearing up and down, we're not going to be here much longer. We're going to move to Florida. Like, we're going to do here. We're going to move here. We need to be here. And more during COVID, as it was resolving and getting better, and especially now in April of 2022, we have just a whole different view on where we want to live and how we want to be supported and where we're meant to live. And me and him now just both have this renewed confidence and output and outlook, more so, of we are meant to be building things here in New Jersey. And although we can be in other places, we choose to be here. And I think that was a really big energetic shift for us to choose. I'm not a victim of my circumstances, right? Like, I'm not a victim of my environment. This is where I choose to be. This is where we're going to choose to grow. And this is where we choose to make our home base. And that's one of the biggest shifts since then of us deciding to do that. And when we had our initial session, I believe it was in like December or January. So my son was probably like 2 or 3 months old. And there was just so many unknowns. We just weren't sure how the rest of that year would look into next year. And now that we're here, I think that a lot has changed in a really positive way. And I'm excited to definitely chat more about Italy and Florida and just like the different ways that I've integrated that into our life instead of like focusing on it and being like, we have to go there soon. I think we've really
Right,
adopted
that desperation.
patience.
And
Exactly.
I love
Patience.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, because I do tell my clients to connect to the energies from abroad, or you're connecting to energies from Italy that you've been fond
Mm.
of, and Florida, and just maybe visiting, but not necessarily moving to those places. So I love that you've been incorporating those energies, and from a distance, like you know that you can always connect, and you've made that choice to be exactly where you are, but tapping into the energies from a distance. So you actually have Uranus energy in New Jersey, which is all about, it's like the rambunctious teenager. It's all about renewal, all about ideas. So it makes sense that you started all these businesses there, but maybe you felt like there was instability at the same time, because it's one of those energies you have to be very flexible, and you are that flexible person. Like I've seen you, like you're moving through so many things. So you've been up against this energy all your life. So you really had to be very agile. Is that something that you felt throughout?
Yes, you know what? I
Yeah.
think that's probably one of the things is that like working with the flexibility,
Mhm.
because I think that we didn't really make that shift until probably the summer of last year, like last summer. Yeah, we're only
Yep.
April, so it had to be last year. Summer of last year is when Tyler and I really sat down and we were like, what are we doing? What are we trying to escape from? What, like, we need to be purposeful. And we took our children out of daycare because the expense was something like $1,600 a month just for 3 days a week of daycare for two
Mm,
kids. And that was what was making us have structure that wasn't serving us. It
right.
wasn't serving us. They were always getting sent home. They were sick every single week. There was no flexibility in it. But I
Mhm.
thought, ooh, daycare, this big investment, it's going to give me so much flexibility. Not when every single week you unexpectedly have to stay home with your
Right.
kids. Once we took them out, they've been out ever since. We're what, like 4 months, 3 months shy of them being out of daycare for a
Mhm.
year. And it's made our life so much better that they've been out. So I think that was also one of the big things is like we thought based on society, daycare is best for us. Daycare is what will be stable. It will allow us to grow our businesses while our children are taken care of. And I think that not only me, but a lot of the clients and fellow moms and dads out there are realizing, wait, what if what works for our parents isn't what's working for us? And so I think we completely threw everything away in August
Yeah.
and just have been rebuilding to now me and my husband take shifts taking care of our kids and we love it. Like we love it now. We just find so much joy in it. So we're truly extremely flexible now. Whereas I wouldn't have said the same last year because we would have had to do things based off my children's daycare schedule.
Right.
Like I was
Exactly.
like, come on, like I just don't want to be living like that. Let's create a life where we can both work part-time and
Mm.
we both bring in a lot of income doing so that we can live great lives. But our children, like we get to raise our
I
children
know how
too.
beautiful that you can be with your kids at the same
Yeah,
time, and they get to
yeah.
see you building businesses, which,
Exactly.
yeah,
They get
just
to spend, like me and my husband, I was explaining it to someone because a
mhm.
lot of people don't know that about us. I'm still a stay-at-home mom and my husband's still a stay-at-home dad. And I was saying that in the stories once and someone responded and was like, oh, that doesn't really resonate with me. I'm like, it's got to resonate with me
'Cause
because
that's what it
that's
is.
what I'm a stay-at-home mom. No one else watches our kids except us
Right.
two. And my in-laws help out 1 day a week, 6 days out of the week. Me and my husband are watching our children.
Yeah.
So that is like really powerful for us to just step into it and to say, you know what, this is what my business looks like. This is what my family looks like. This is what our lives will look like. And we're going to choose it instead of being like, oh, yeah, no dig. No, let's choose it. Let's own it so that we can actually use it to our advantage. And I feel like that's what we've really been doing over the past few months.
And that's totally the Uranus energy, because it also mentions
Yes.
that you'll find people like, what is it? You'll find your family more in like-minded individuals rather than blood relations.
Mm,
Just knowing your story, I feel like that's something
yeah.
that you've been, yeah, finding in these networks that you're
Yes.
creating.
Creating our own
Mhm.
family. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Your chosen
Exactly.
family.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and the importance of chosen family, because yeah, those are the people that you lean on. And
Mm.
this energy is also about gaining independence and turning things upside down. So it's, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
completely
It's
completely,
fitting. It's
it's
fitting
very
for what
fitting.
everyone thinks when they think Gabby. They definitely don't think like
Yeah.
this. this regular girl that just
No,
sits
no.
behind a desk. So I
Uranus
think that like,
energy is
yes,
it's rebellious energy. So I
yes,
love
that
that
is me to a T.
you kind of run with it. And a lot of times I tell my clients, maybe Uranus energy might not be good for you to live on,
Yeah.
because it's not a recommended energy to live on because you have to be very flexible. But I feel like it's
Yeah.
like all the things have been thrown at you, but you've just made it your own
Yeah.
and made it part of your story and your business. So I really love that. Other areas. So talk a little bit about before. So like how you got into your business, how it came about, because you started in accounting. And how long were you in accounting before you're like, I'm done?
Yes. You know what is when I went to school, I went to my community college. I played soccer and basketball, but I loved people. So I was convinced I need to do hospitality management because that seems to be the only field where you interact with people this much. And I love people. I love stories. I love all of it. Like I love analyzing them. And then as I was going through my courses, I had to take accounting and economics, and I fell in love with the both of them. I fell in love with economics and I actually wanted to go, and that's what I want to pursue. I was in between accounting or economics. And I just honestly, economics was extremely hard. Yeah, somehow studied my arse off, even at a community college level. I was able to get like A's and really good grades in like 1 and 2. But I was like, Gabby, I don't trust you. I don't trust you going all the way with economics, girl. Like stick with accounting.
You have to
So
look at
that's
trends and like history.
yeah.
It's
Oh
a
my
lot of
gosh.
research.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
And I liked accounting, and I think it was a little like it was just a little more my level. And so like my zone of genius. So that's when I applied to go to Bloomfield College. I was able to get almost a full ride. That's the only way that I would have been able to afford there without accruing a ton in loans and debt. As I was leaving Bloomfield College in Bloomfield, New Jersey, it's so diverse. I was a minority at Bloomfield, and it was an amazing feeling because I love that kind of immersion. And so not only am I a minority, but I was even more of a minority due to the fact that I'm white. So everyone was like, okay, she's Colombian, but she's white. And I was just full of different like people from all over the place. And it was awesome. I love Bloomfield, but it wasn't really that well connected when it comes to internships perspective. My mom had a ex-boyfriend from high school who was a partner at the Ernst & Young tax division in New York. I got on a phone call with him, sent him my resume, and he got me into an internship at Ernst & Young. And then, I did a 2-month internship. I went and worked in London for a month. I did all of the things that looked fantastic on paper, but I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I can't even tell you how much I hated it. I literally feel like I want to cry right now because I hated it. I loved working out of London though. And every single weekend when I worked there for 4 weeks, I would travel to different countries every single weekend, and Ibiza and Ireland. And oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the other places that I went to, but I went to a different country every single weekend while I was there. Came back, they sent us to Disney. We went to Disney for a few days. And I was like, wait, these people aren't happy. Like these people aren't happy that I'm working next to. They're not fulfilled. And I could see it right away. So I got an offer to start at 60K with a few different bonuses. And I initially accepted the offer. At the same time though, when I came back, because this was the summer of 2017, I saw all the opportunities that were available to just humans in life. And I was like, Tyler, he was only my boyfriend at the time. I was like, you need to start your studio now. He had already been out of his house, but never in a brick and mortar. Like, you need to leave that job that you hate, go get a job somewhere else part-time and open your business because there are opportunities for you out there. Let's do this. So as soon as I got home, he opened his business. I had another internship lined up for a local accounting firm that was literally disgusting, owned by a man, and he was insane, like literally insane. And I worked there for 2 or 3 weeks before I was like, nope, can't do this anymore. The same day that I was gonna quit, he fired me. And so I was like, this is great. I was like crying on the phone to my mom. She's like, this sounds okay though. I was like, it's okay. But I took the call out of our studio. So I was like, you know what? Nope, I'm going full into our studio. So from August of 2017 until now, We've been fully building out our studio, about to approach our 5th year. And the studio has just allowed us to, we had a child relatively young when we were married, out of wedlock, before we got married.
You were babies like right out of college too.
Yes, I was, and I still, because I didn't graduate college until 2018. So I had the whole year, that I was in college getting my master's, I was building the business. And my professors thought I was insane because I couldn't vocalize that I didn't want to do EY. So I pushed back my start date, and I couldn't vocalize it. Like, it made me depressed. It made me really depressed. So I think it was in 2018 that I hit a really bad, like I hit a really low point. Like, it's really disgusting to share, but like my apartment that I was renting was an absolute mess. It was disgusting. And there was like rotting food in my fridge. Like, I was depressed. I was really depressed and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I forget what it was that happened, that I had to sit down and have a conversation with Tyler. And I was like, I can't keep living like this because I'm lying to everyone around me. I'm lying. And this isn't the life that I want to live. This is what I want to do. I want us to start our family. I want us to build this business. And I don't want to keep lying to anyone around me. And so that's what we did. I took out the IUD that I had. I denied my offer through Ernst & Young. We got pregnant. And then this kind of started us on the journey that we are here. So it's been a very interesting, like my before story is very interesting because it's similar to my now story of just taking risks and saying no to the opportunities that do not fit you. I think that a lot of my life has been spent serving others, but also disappointing those around me that love me because my loved ones were really disappointed in me.
And it's that Uranus energy, that rebellious energy. Where it's
like they were also really disappointed that we got pregnant. Like they were you're
throwing away your career, you're throwing away your life, right?
Yeah. And it's also because I wasn't being honest. I wasn't being honest in how miserable it was with that internship. I was miserable and I was leaning on other things like alcohol in order to make myself feel better. And so that's also one huge shift that happened. I think it's about a year now. I completely cut out alcohol. And so I've been like 4 years sober, like on purpose, not because I had any alcoholism, but just because there's a history of it in my family. And every single bad thing that's happened to me in life was also while I was drinking alcohol. And I was like, that's a little too close of a correlation for me. And I need to get myself out of this. So I think there were a lot of things that didn't make sense to anybody else because they were like, no, you can find balance with alcohol. Like you just need to, I'm like, oh, drink more. Okay. So I drink enough alcohol to find balance.
Right.
No,
just build up your tolerance. It's like, what?
So I need to go through more horrible things to find. No, I hear you, and it's not clicking, sweetie. It is not clicking. So that's kind of what's brought us, of course, a plethora of other things, but just like building wise, I always say that we built the business on purpose, but not to anyone else. Like we had our child on purpose, but not to anyone else. So I think that's what I've really dedicated my life to now, is doing things on purpose. Like with me telling you, now we're going to stay here and it's on purpose. Like doing everything consensually. That's just a word that's really come to me in 2022.
Consciously, right?
Exactly. Being conscious and then vocalizing why you're deciding to do it. But I think a part of my rebellious previous nature was, okay, we'll do things and don't tell anyone, but that's not really serving. That doesn't actually really serve me. So I'm going to do things that are crazy and I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing it. Like that way we're all on the same page.
And you're either like gonna stick around or not, and then you're on board or not. And I love that, because with Astrogeo, that's essentially, with astrogeography, that's essentially what I'm doing. It's conscious travel, right? You're traveling with purpose. So the fact that you are deciding to stay in a certain place, but also deciding in the future what, where your conference is going to be. Like, oh, I felt this certain energy in a particular place, let me start planning something out. And Astrogeo Leo can tell you or give you an answer as to why you feel that call or draw to that place. I love that. And the fact that you went to London, you had Jupiter energy, which is all about abundance. And you also had the sun line like right through there. So it's all about being seen and recognized. So is that something that you felt? And it's also MC if you look at it, which is related to career and like future. So did you feel like you were, just from what you told me, like you were getting sent to all these different places? So I feel like you were tapping into that sun energy, and it's something that you may want to tap into in the future, just, you know, knowing what that London energy feels like. So you are even working with people from London.
Yes. And that's so funny because that's someone who, like, that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I had never known that was what the world could do, like that I could get paid a lot of money. Like, I think in those 2 months of that internship, I think I made like $16,000, like literally something insane.
Like,
where people were like, you know, and I'm like,
that's
what? I think
above
it was
like
21,
welfare status.
20,
You're just
21
like,
years old.
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, like, oh, this sounds good. But also, I think it gave me that, it like experience that in London, they have a very different work lifestyle than we do. And like in the summer, like we were all going out, we were all having fun. It was just like a completely different energy versus in the US. So
Yeah.
yes. And now currently, in order to expand and bring NGN and some of my business to the next stage, that's someone that I've actually been connected to, someone that was born and raised in London. He travels all over the world, but I'm really excited for the knowledge base that he has. And I'll be bringing him into NGN to do some sales trainings and different things for us. But that's on the back burner because it's not solidified yet. So we're kind of like running through the solid dates. But it's funny that you bring that up because I met someone recently just 3 weeks ago and I was like,
wow,
this is going to be huge. This is going to be an amazing expansion.
Yeah, because you don't know. And that's another thing I usually say, you might meet someone from that particular place. You don't necessarily have to travel to that place. So the fact that you are connecting with these people and even marketing like your offerings to these places, you might end up getting clients from a particular region that is harmonious for you. Yeah. Wow. And in the future, where do you see yourself? I know you were thinking about Italy and Florida. What do you see? What did you feel in Italy? You have your moon line there, which is all about, feeling at home and just feeling grounded. And is that something that you felt there?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love Italy. My husband and I went for 9 days for our honeymoon, and we just took the trains and went to Naples and went to Rome and stayed in Positano for the longest. I think we were in Positano for 4 days. And that's where I desperately want to return to. I'm not even kidding you. I'm on kayak all the time. Like I want to ask Tyler, can I just go to Positano for the weekend? Like,
have it tracked, like send me emails, like when's the prices drop?
Like when's the best price to go? Because I love it there. Oh my gosh, the level of not only independence, but just pure beauty. It's just beautiful. And I feel so at home. I feel so at peace, so at home. I feel like it's just so much stability. And it's the weirdest thing because you're just traveling there, but you feel like you have found a place where you fit in, like you have found a place where you belong. And that's how, like, that's where I feel in Positano. And I love talking about like your big, hairy, audacious goals and just things that you love to do. Obviously, like a little bit about our financial backgrounds is that my husband was raised very comfortably. They have a beautiful home, my in-laws, and they just have a beautiful life that they live, and it's beautiful. And then for me, it's the same thing, but not certainly the same, not to that level whatsoever. And so we were raised comfortably, and my dad worked his off for us. Oh my gosh. If there's anything that I realize now being at 27 looking, and he still does, he still works his
was he a factory worker?
So he works as like a machinist, like a engineer.
Got it.
But it's not necessarily factories, manufacturing plants. Like I get, because like, yes,
my mom was also she was a machine operator in pharmaceuticals, so I completely understand like hourly work, overtime all the time. Saturday, Sunday, overtime, I'm there,
double time. Exactly. And you don't realize until you're the one making the money as well to provide for your family. Like my dad got his associate's degree when I think I was in like not middle school, but beneath that, maybe I was 10 or 11 was when my dad got his associate's degree. Like my dad's a hustler. My
Yeah.
mom's like an extremely intelligent woman. And so I think I got like a different preview of growing up because my parents were young when they had me and my sister. And they did the best that they could with the resources that they had. So me and him have two extremely different like ideas about money and ideas about like wealth and what that looks like and if we're allowed to have it. So my absolute dream now that my mindset on money has shifted so much since I was younger and since he was younger as well is, you know, I want to be that family that's like out of a magazine, like me and my kids are in our like nice sun clothes and I'm in my sundress and we're going down to one of the beautiful restaurants in Positano. We're having lunch, like we're on the beach, we're relaxing. I want that to be my family. Like and it sounds so you're like, Gabby, okay, cool, just go book the trip. But it's like the emotional meaning behind it that I want that to be my family. And more than just 1 week out of the year, I want us to have, you know, a small
Months at a
cottage and a
time,
small
yeah.
villa exactly in Italy. I want to bring my children to Italy and through Europe for our summers. When they get older and they're 13, 14, 15, 16, I want them to bring their friends with us to our villa in Italy. And I really could care less for mega mansions. I really could care less for that level of wealth and that idea.
The experience.
To me, exactly. To me, wealth is experiences, but emotional experiences. And I just love Italy. And I know that that's going to be the place where we're going to build a small farm or a barn. And that's going to be our relaxation. Like 3 months out of the year, I just want us to literally unplug and be there and be present. But I understand and I'm extremely realistic with myself that it is going to take work to get there. It's going to take quite a bit of work to get there. So that's okay. But now I know what that looks like and what I can move towards. And I also know what I can do now that can allow me to get a little bit of that feeling so that I can start to understand what it's going to feel like then. And that's where Florida comes in as well, because Florida's that for my family too. Like for some weird reason, Florida is that for us. And we're going to go to Disney in June for a week. So we'll be doing that for the first time ever, like as a family trip, our first family trip all together since my son has been born, because he was born during COVID, of course. And then I'll be doing a small networking event down there as well. But really utilizing some of the things that you have taught me so that I know that, I consciously know that now, of the areas that can allow me to amplify the energy or the emotions that I'm already feeling. And another place that I love that we'll be heading back to for a week this summer is Wildwood. I do not know what it is about Wildwood, New Jersey. We've gone there now for, this will be our third summer straight. And I know that a lot of this stuff might sound weird. I don't know, Melissa. I don't know. Maybe it's just because you and I, because your mom came from, is it Guatemala?
Both my parents.
And so when both your parents came from, so you were born here though in the US?
I was, Point Pleasant.
Okay, got it. So, oh, you're close.
I'm a Jersey girl, like through and through.
Right? You're like
Jersey Shore. Yeah.
I think these are things that sound really weird to, I don't know who it sounds weird to, but like you'd probably be able to relate, because I grew up having friends that like had these family traditions.
Like going
My
down
family
to the
didn't
shore.
have any family traditions. Yes, but they're family traditions that are rooted in privilege.
My family was smart. They just lived near the shore.
Exactly. We live like we go to Point Pleasant every summer. It's our family
like 15
thing.
miles away from the shore. Our senior trip was to the shore. That's how much.
Oh my gosh.
Like, no money, no money in our school system.
It's really interesting things like okay, Gabby, that's weird. Your dream is to go to Wildwood every summer? Yeah. Okay. My dream is to go to Wildwood every summer. And that's that, because one thing that my parents really made sure that we did was traveled. So I did so much traveling when I was younger. But it's not necessarily that it was consistent. You know, it's not necessarily
where were you traveling to?
Oh my gosh, everywhere. We have gone everywhere because I have family in Minnesota, family in California, family in Florida. So we've gone everywhere. We, as a family, we did cruises together, like 2 cruises, which felt like we were scandalous. We also did like a Europe trip, Norway, Paris, and London when I was younger in 5th grade. And then we went back to Norway when I was graduated high school. My mom's a super saver. And my dad's a super spender. So combined together, we always were going places and it was so much fun. And I love that. And I always want to make sure that we do that for our children. But of course, because of the times we haven't really been able to,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like Wildwood's is that thing where we can go there for a week and just be family. And like we can go there for a week and just relax and cook meals and like go to
Right.
the beach, and life's simple. Life is so simple. We go to the boardwalk every single night. Like you're going to Wildwood and it's like the time of your life, but it's so simple. So
No, but it makes
I'm
complete
really,
sense because I love going back home to like Seaside Heights to just walk the boardwalk,
yeah,
just be by the beach. And I went to
yes.
Wildwood for the first time during the pandemic because
Uh-huh.
I had never
Uh-huh.
been down there, and we went down to Cape May as well. I had been to Cape May before, but we did the dolphin ride. There's a
Yes.
boat
Dolphin
that takes
cruise,
the
dolphin
dolphin
watching.
cruise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So totally understand
It's like
why
the little
there's that connection.
things.
Yeah,
It's like but
I didn't grow
it's
up with that, so it's just like,
right?
hey,
It's
yeah.
stability. Like
Mhm.
I want my daughter to know, okay, every single year in August we go down to Wildwood and it's the most fun we ever have. I know that to a lot of people maybe that have been in America forever, this
Mm.
is a no-brainer to them because they have homes down the shore, they have condos down the shore, but for me, that wasn't the case. Those are some of the memories that I want to create. And then I also invite my siblings along. So, like, my older sister brings my younger siblings.
Mm.
I don't know. I guess maybe that's just a weird fever dream, but I want to be able to have something consistent like that for my family too. So
And
we
it
can know
it
when we're,
makes sense too because you're in this Uranus energy, which is all about being rebellious, not really having a traditional family, but you're almost
Mhm.
craving that because you didn't have that. So you're
Yes,
creating that for
yes.
yourself now. So
Yes,
that's really beautiful.
stability,
The stability.
structure.
Exactly.
Yes, like I just want stability with my family and with my home
Mhm.
life. And I think growing up, having my dad work so much, it makes you learn what's important to you and what you want to do differently. So I think
Right.
that's really what my husband and I are trying to do. What do we want to do differently? And then consciously doing those things.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
beautiful. And bringing, yeah, the stability, the moon energy from Italy, right? That stable
Mhm,
energy.
mhm.
And in Florida, you have the Neptune energy, which is all about spirituality and like tapping into just the spiritual realm, like tapping into like who Gabby is. So I love that too. Where is that next event in Florida? Where do you plan to do that?
Yes, that'll just be in Orlando. That
Mhm.
because that's where we're gonna be. So what I'm starting to do is as we plan our family trips, like just throwing in like an NGN dinner or like an NGN networking
Yeah.
event, like at a local restaurant, like just something like, hey, we're gonna be here. I'm gonna be here with my
Mhm.
family. I want my other family to be able to see and experience it too. Like, hey, NGN fam, like, hey, no plan B fam, come on over. Let's all meet and let's like just get in on that energy together.
Amazing, amazing. So
Yeah.
what offers do you have? What's coming up? I know you have NGN, the Next Generation Network, which has been
Yes.
amazing. I'm in my second round. It's going to be the third round
Yes.
coming up.
Yep. Moving into the third.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you have planned and how can people work with you?
Yes. It's so interesting as time has moved on and like being very aware and conscious as well
Mhm.
of like how my funnel works and how people get to know me and meet me. So now the main way, like the main offer I have is NGN, the Next Generation Network, right? So there's 3 different tiers that you can join in at. It's hosted on Circle. We have networking events and co-working hours and cohorts, and it's all about like finding yourself as CEO, building your business, also not losing that personal component of personal development and who you are and asking questions and like just being able to be seen for who you are as you grow. NGN is probably the best way to get to know me and the group of people that I hang with. And if you fit in, but you know, if you feel at home in NGN, more likely than not, will work together in some
Right.
capacity. Right now it's changing with my fractional CO and consulting work. I really only work based off of referrals. So if
Mhm.
you're sent to me, let's give it a go. Let's get on a call, see if it's a fit. But it's very unique in that now, because of so many people know me and who I am and the caliber of like how I work.
Mhm.
So I don't really have any like public one-on-one offerings, I would
Okay.
say. It's really NGN is the core of
Yeah.
the
Like you
breadth,
kind of
you know,
funnel
the
through NGN and see like
exactly.
how else you can expand working with you. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is it's nice to be able to like mentally be able to do that because it's
Mhm.
allowed me now as I hired on my first employee and I have a second one, a second contractor that's going to be
Yeah.
starting this upcoming week, but really being more conscious on what I want to grow. And Next Generation Network is a slow grow for me. I want to be
Mhm.
very conscious of the areas that need to be fixed, that need help, that need
Right.
support growing the areas that are doing amazing, but just making sure that all around it's a great experience. And then the same thing with my fractional CO work. I want to be very aware of what needs help with that process, where there are gaps or holes, and then making sure that I have a team behind me to be able to fill those gaps and holes. So I think this year, going into next year and going into beyond, is when I'm so ready to accept help. And I used to be that rebellious person that also used to never accept help. And I would listen and like, I would listen and I'll change.
Yeah. Like I can figure this out.
I'll make changes. Yeah. But that's not how things need to be done anymore. And so I'm just ready to accept all of the help in the world. But now I also know what good help feels like and what bad help feels like. And I'm ready to be able to say, hey, I asked you for help and it's not really needed anymore. Or, hey, the boundaries are here, the asks are here, and that means the growth is going to align with it as well. So it's exciting to be able to not have to use as much brain power or brain capacity so that I can still show up in other areas of my life. And so that I don't have to be directly responsible for so many things. Like now I can start to parse those things out and bring on other amazing community leaders that can serve better, that can serve that space better. You know what I mean? Like you're going to find a better coach.
So you're not like sweating in the seat. Like, I don't know if I can support my group like this. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, and it's great to be able to say that, hey, look at what I've built. I've built it. And now I'm ready for you to come in and provide help and support in these areas.
But then people outside do see the value, right? That you're expanding, that you are bringing these people consciously to add value to your community. So I love that. Chris Ward being one of them. And I worked with him personally. So yeah, with storytelling. Yeah, it's been an amazing group. And that's why I continue to be in it, because you can come in at such a reasonable price to see like how the group is, do networking events and expand from there if you want to get a little deeper.
If you choose to, if you so choose. Yes, exactly. We accept you as you are. Come on in. And if you want more, we have more. But if you're content, let's be content together. It's okay. And that's what I always tell people is you're going to know which tier fits for you, because it's going to fit like a glove. Like it's just going to fit you well. And some people are in there just to network. And some people are in there just to be a part of the community, to pull from it whenever they need. And then some people are in there because it's their bread and their butter, and they're growing, they're thriving. And like, that's the level of support they need right now. But the level of support you need always differs. So that's why I'm happy NGN is also able to be flexible in the level that it delivers. A lot of people are like, how many hours a month do I need to dedicate? I'm like, for some people it's 0, and that's okay.
And some people just like they just listen in because they're not at that level yet where they can add to the conversation, but they're like, okay, taking notes, like, all right, that's what Melissa's doing, that's what Jess is doing, like, all right, that's what I need to focus on moving forward. So yeah, it's beautiful to just bounce ideas off of each other and also just see where people are going. That allows you to see like what's possible for you. So
yes, that transparency. Before I opened NGN, I was also consciously a part of a few other organizations and networks to see what was missing. And that's what was missing, among a plethora of other things, mainly transparency. And it's not until we are now, at month 6 and we're entering in, that I'm realizing that the reason why you benefit, Melissa, is because people are honest. People are open, and people say, hey, I did this and it really worked for me. You should try this. Or like, here's the hack or trick that I use this too, right? Like you recording the Loom for us, so we know how to integrate our domain into Dubsado. For so many people that's stupid, Google it. No, you can't really Google some stuff like that. Like, especially in entrepreneurship, to have that level of transparency that's like, here's how much I'm charging, here's how much you should charge, or like, here's what we think of your sales page. You don't find that in other places that don't come with like oh, here's my call button, like you should probably book some time with me and that's going to be X amount of dollars.
Because they're like, oh, this is proprietary information, I'm not going to share that. Yeah,
exactly. But at the level in which all of us are right now, building our businesses sustainably, you can't keep hiring on for every single thing. So let's help each other group think, mastermind, do whatever we can do. And then as we grow, we hire each other on. And that's worked really well too. I wasn't sure how the conversion process would quite work, which is why I never wanted to base NGN off of conversions. But seeing how people have naturally grown, they're like, yeah, I converted with her, Gabby, because I loved her. And I'm like, Oh, like, so it's, it's, you're learning
Right.
those aspects.
And
So
sometimes when you're
I,
starting out, there's the bartering, right? Like you do
yes,
exchanges. So that's completely natural. And that's a beautiful way to see what somebody else has to
what the
offer.
offering is.
Yeah. So
Yes.
good
Yes.
barters.
It's been great. Right, right. Good progress. Good progress. Forward momentum.
Yes,
Forward
yes,
moving momentum.
yes. No, but I meant the good barters.
Oh, good
Because
barters. Yeah.
sometimes there aren't.
Sketchy.
That
Sometimes
happens.
they're
That
sketchy.
happens too.
Okay. It's unfair, but we're moving towards all fair
Exactly.
barters.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. Thank you so much for being on today. It was a pleasure. Remember, lineage goes beyond your ancestors. You are meant to connect to the cosmos so you may finally find your cosmic family. Until next time. Thank you for listening to Cosmic Roadmap. If you're curious about astrogeography and where you're meant to be on the planet, go to cosmicroadmap.com to download your free passport to purpose. You can also book a session with me where we can explore your own cosmic roadmap and chart your next destination in business, love, and life.